Chris Adams on the airplane. I rode a bicycle from South Africa all the way to the Congo. And, so it's the stories about...
Why did you do that?
Because two British guys were visiting me in South Africa and said, hey, we're going to go ride a bicycle to the Congo. And I'm like, okay, not knowing how dangerous it was. And I mean dangerous.
You're not talking about a motorcycle, you're talking about...
Bicycle. Yeah. Not to mention that, to get... I went through, 30 tire inner tubes and about 300 patches. By the end, we're riding on rims. Our tires were even gone, and eventually we just threw the bikes away. But you'd see 4-year-olds with machine guns sniffing glue, and so it was a pretty interesting trip. And knowing what I know now,
yeah,
and if I had a son that said he wanted to ride to the Congo, I would say you're absolutely insane.
Was this for charity or something, or just
to do it?
This sounds like fun.
It was miserable too, because South Africa is it's a third world country, but with first world cities.
Yeah.
Once you get past South Africa, you're talking about, dirt roads and animals and people that are carrying weapons, and you're white, they're not, So the further up you get, the more crazy it gets. And not to mention in the Congo, it rains every freaking day, and it's 100% humidity, and you got everything that can bite you.
Yeah, maybe give us some examples of that wild animals there that you would have had to deal with.
Well, many times, those pigs, the boar,
the warthog.
Well, they warthogs, yeah. They'll chase you, they are very dangerous. And
really? Wow.
Yeah. I almost lost my leg. I kicked one, and because I was between it and its baby, and the tusk got me, and I got an infection, and it took me a month and a half to get rid of it, and I thought they were going to end up cutting my leg off. But you'd be in the middle of nowhere, and you'd see a lion or a rhino. In South Africa, you see them, but they're on a game park. But the further up you get, they're just kind of roaming around. And the most dangerous is the hippo, and you see them everywhere. So if you're anywhere close to the water, and they're really fast, they're dangerous, and crocodiles as well.
And you're on a bicycle, biking by all these things.
Yeah, it's funny because I made a movie in India that we shot in Kenya as well.
Yeah.
And I remember being in a lake, and it was the Indian directors, and the production was Indian. And I had to learn Hindi in the morning from 5 to 6 to be able to do, I don't speak Hindi, but to learn my lines, to be able to, because they do it in Hindi, and some of it was in English too, because they go back and forth, but a lot of it's in Hindi, so I had to learn my lines in Hindi. But I remember being on a lake, and I was in a balsa canoe, and there was a chief, like you know what a balsa wood is? It's like really light. And the boat was pulling me, and in Africa you have something called balazia. It goes through your feet, and it gets into your eyes, and it makes people blind. It's preventable and it's treatable, but a lot of people go blind because they don't have the money to get the medicine. And I kept asking the chief that let us use this balsa, he was on the boat, and I kept asking him about, is there balazia in the lake? And he goes, no, it has to be a stagnant lake, like water not running into it. And the river was running into this. And about the 5th time I asked him, he says, I wouldn't be worried about the balazia, I'd be worried about the hippos and the crocodiles. And sure enough, about that time, I could hear and this is also the book, but I could hear the hippos in the water, and there was no stuntmen because there's nobody that looked like me. They're all Indian. So I had to do my own stunts, and that was pretty hair-raising. It was an interesting trip.
So hippos will injure humans. They'll go after humans.
They'll bite you in half. They're very, very, more hippo, they kill more people than any other animal in Africa.
Really?
Yeah.